program will start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you are happy and you know it, give yourselves a hand. My name is Harold Allen, Chairman of the Whittier College Hall of Fame Committee. With honor, privilege, and appreciation, I stand before you on a night to celebrate some individuals, a coach, and a team. And so tonight I need you to join me in that celebration. And I want you to understand the intimacy that we have here tonight, the family environment. And so if you have to laugh, laugh. If you have to cry, cry. If you have to reflect, do so. Because tonight is about you. Let me change that. Tonight is about others, not about you. And so I welcome you tonight. I'm excited to be here. I've spoken with some individuals I haven't spoken to in 30 years. And I'm happy for what's going to take place tonight. I need you to join me tonight. Tonight's a special night. And so, if I can do this, it's going to sound kind of crazy, but on this side of the room, my left, your right, this side of the room, my right, your left, Whittier College. Can we try that? Ready? Go.
Whittier College! Whittier College!
I guess we're ready tonight. Wow. So, okay. Housekeeping. We're going to have dinner. I'll come back in about 40, 45 minutes. And we will continue with our party of celebrating tonight, the night of celebrating others. Enjoy. And a great team. A great team consists of good players and good coaches. And so that's what we're going to do. I celebrate them in each category. And so let's get this party started with our first presenter, Mr. Mitch Carter.
Thank you, Harold. And welcome to all to this most distinguished event in which we honor only Whittier's finest athletes. My name is Mitch Carty. I'm a former athlete at Whittier, class of 1996. And I also had the pleasure of coaching at Whittier for 11 seasons from 1996 through 2007. I also had the pleasure of chairing this Hall of Fame committee right before Harold in 2008, 2010, and in 2012. But tonight is a night that I have looked forward to for some time, as this is the first chance that I've had to stand up here in front of you to induct one of my athletes in Sergio Macias. As we're about to induct these two individuals, a coach and a team tonight, I find it fitting to share with the room how impressive this honor is, as it is extremely important. Over the 125-year history of Whittier College and athletics, I've figured, and Vince, you've heard this before, so forgive me, but we've had probably about 6,200 athletes and coaches grace the fields, pools, track, basketball court, 6,200. To date, we have 165 athletes and coaches in the Hall of Fame. Run the numbers, and that's the top 1% to 2% that have been a part of athletics at Whittier College. That's extremely impressive. So people that we honor tonight, it is a remarkable achievement. So to be here and to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Tonight I have the privilege of honoring one of Whittier's finest, in Sergio Macias. Sergio was raised in the city of Commerce. And began swimming and playing water polo for Commerce Aquatics at the age of 6. He attended Bell Gardens High School from 1993 to 1997 and was part of 4 consecutive league championship teams. He was also part of 2 teams his junior and senior year at Bell Gardens High School that won 2 CIF 7 section championships in 1995 and 1996. Little did we know at that time, in 1995, I coached Whittier High School, and they beat us in the CIF finals his junior year. And I sat in the same room with the other coaches at the end of the season when we were doing the selections for the all-CIF team and who was going to be Player of the Year. And there was a nomination that was put forward for one of Sergio's teammates. And they asked for other nominations. And I thought for certain that they would put Sergio as another nominee. And there was silence. And at that time, I nominated Sergio also for Player of the Year. And he was co-Player of the Year that year as a junior, because I felt that he was the most important player on that team. The following year, they went on to win another CIF championship in '96, and Sergio was the lone Player of the Year that year. Still standing today is the CIF Southern Section scoring record for a career of 706 goals. Sergio Macias still holds that record today. Another impressive record that Sergio is still a part of is he had a season in 1996 where he scored 213 goals, which ranks among the top 10 seasons of any water polo player in the history of the CIF Southern Section. In 1997, as Sergio was wrapping up his high school career and deciding on where to attend college, I had just been named the head men's water polo coach at Whittier College. And I was a 23-year-old head coach, and Dave Jacobs had the trust in me to take over this team. And I set my goals and objectives extremely high, and I was telling this to Gary Smith earlier, that when you're recruiting at the Division III level, you have to be very College of Smith, right? I was a 23-year-old head coach. I'm just going to go for the best players that I could possibly go after. And where was the first place I started? Aquatics in Southern California is the heart of water polo. That's the heart. And so I said, you know what the heck? I'm going to go after all the CIF Player of the Years. And so I went after Sergio, thinking for sure, maybe he'll talk to me, maybe he won't, but I'm sure he'll land at Cal, UCLA, Stanford, SE. He came to Whittier College. And he decided that his passion was to play water polo, to be competitive, but he wanted to get an education. That was one of the most important things to him. And not just hungry for a scholarship, not just hungry for being able to say that he played at the best school in the nation. He wanted to come here, play 4 years, be competitive, and get an education. So it came to be the fall. Sergio was going to come to Whittier College. I was super excited. I landed my first top recruit, only my first year. But then the season came about, and I said, what the heck am I going to offer this kid? This kid's got scoring records. What in the world can I possibly teach this kid that he doesn't already know already? Well, it took me a little while to realize, but the recipe was remarkably simple, as Sergio is a very simple person. Provide a clear set of expectations, remain consistent with those expectations, provide a regimen of fundamentals that build from the simple to the complex, and remain challenging, finding new ways for him to improve as a better player, student, and person. You would think that you would want more than that, but that's exactly what he wanted. And that is all you need, is to be that simple, is to be that focused on the simplest things. And that was Sergio. It took me a while for me to figure that out, but that was Sergio. During Sergio's time at Whittier College, he was a 4-year varsity letter winner. He earned 1 letter in swimming when he swam 1 year, but he was the team MVP the 1 year he swam. He was our water polo team captain 3 times. He was our rookie of the year his first year in 1997. He was our team MVP in 1998 and 2000. He was first team All-SCIAC 3 times, and the only reason he wasn't first team All-SCIAC the 4th time was because the other year he was the SCIAC Player of the Year. He was first team All-Western Water Polo Association in 1999, and an honorable mention selection in 1998 and 2000. He was an American Water Polo Coaches Association Division III first team All-American 3 times in 1998, 99, and 2000. First team. He was the Purple and Gold Freshman Athlete of the Year in 1997 and was our career goal-scoring record holder, which also still stands today at 417 goals in a career. And that record still stands. While at Whittier College, Sergio was a kinesiology major. He was a member of the Franklin Society. He had an emphasis in teaching and coaching, which is what he wanted to do. He earned his teaching credential at California State University of Long Beach, as well as his master's degree in kinesiology in 2005. While if you feel that Sergio's honors as an athlete are impressive, he's gone on to have an even more equally impressive coaching career. He started coaching for the Commerce Aquatics Club, which he hailed from, and also began a coaching career at Montebello High School. During his time at Montebello High School, he led his boys and girls teams to 3 consecutive league championships, and he led his boys team to back-to-back CIF championships in 2003 and 2004. He was the CIF Coach of the Year twice, 2003 and 2004, and was the Los Angeles Times Coach of the Year in 2003 and the Whittier Daily News Coach of the Year in 2004. Constantly looking for new and innovative ways to improve himself, Sergio left Montebello High School and accepted a coaching position for the women's water polo team at Cerritos College. He's currently in his 9th season there and has amassed a 226 and 61 overall record, 79% winning percentage. Amidst those wins, he's achieved 5 South Coast Conference championships. In 2013, he embarked in a new area of water polo, and that is a water polo official. And in his first year as a water polo official, because of the name that he had made for himself, not only as a player and as a coach, was selected to referee a CIF semifinal in his first year as a referee, which is, as a referee, it's unheard of. He's twice refereed at the National Junior Olympics in 2013 and 2014, and was selected as a collegiate water polo referee in only his 2nd year as a referee. As Sergio's collegiate coach and observer of his life before, during, and after his time at Whittier, his past, present, and future success is not a magic formula. While he has been blessed with tremendous athletic talent, he is a product of his upbringing. His mother and father have provided to him a wonderful template of what can be achieved by doing the simple things incredibly well. Always be respectful. I've never heard Sergio speak an ill word of anyone. Opponent, teammate, never. He's got teammates here today and who will attest to that. Be loyal to family, teammates, and coaches. In today's society where the grass is always greener, Sergio was never that way. He lived and died by his teammates and supported them through and through, as well as his coaches. I'm sure he was mad at me plenty. Have a good attitude. Sergio has realized that there's very few things that you can control as an athlete and as a coach. One of them is your attitude and one of them is your effort. And Sergio had a grip on those the entire time that I've known him. Keep your emotions consistent. Sergio was never too high on a win and never too low on a loss. Consistent. Set your expectations high. Sergio has always decided what he wants to achieve, and let's go for it. Focus on the fundamentals and build from there. Everyone in the room has heard of John Wooden, and we've all thought of people that we may know or would like to come in contact with somebody that maybe lives up to or comes close to setting themselves on the path in which John Wooden set himself. I don't know anybody that as closely matches to what has been achieved or keeping a formula simple for success as Sergio Macias. Finally, amongst the incredibly simple things that Sergio does well is he works hard. It is my distinct honor to present to you not only arguably the best water polo player in Whittier College history, but maybe one of the finest to ever play water polo in the Sky Conference. But he also, one of Whittier College's greatest success stories, a true ambassador to our college, and his more than 125-year history of athletics. Inducted today to the Whittier College Athletic Hall of Fame, Sergio Macias.
First, I want to thank my coach, Coach Carty, for my introduction. Couldn't be more pleased to come in for many other persons besides my own coach, who was also part of the Hall of Fame. Today is a special day, a special moment for me, as well as the other inductees. As Nick said, I'm a very simple person. Out of high school, I wasn't too sure what school I wanted to go, continue my academics or my athletics. What sold me at Whittier College? Something very simple. A coach who was charismatic, his family embraced me, his brother, one of my best teammates, came in with open arms, and I felt, you know what, this is it. I want a quality education, I want to play immediately and not wait, and I want to make a difference on the program. And that's exactly what I got at Whittier College. My first year was my most fun year because I was a nobody. Nobody knew who I was. A freshman, and we were still trying to figure out what culture this program is going to establish. Me being a coach, actually establishing a culture is the toughest part of coaching. Mitch being a young, energetic, passionate coach, took us a while to figure out what direction we want to go. And without a doubt, I have no regrets going to Whittier College and making a difference of bringing a better name to our school, our campus, earning national recognition, making a water polo team what it is today. There's only one thing I wish would have been different from my experience. That is playing in the current pool that they have right now. Which I must congratulate the administrators and AG for a fascinating job on the top-notch facility. That's, if you ask the coach, a recruiting tool for the facility. Mitch already mentioned all my personal accolades, but as all of you guys know, water polo is a team sport. So without proper guidance from a coach, without a supporting team, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish my goals as a player. I want to be remembered as the player that played the good guys, that turned the program around to make it where we are conference contenders year in, year out. And when I played every single year, I think it was a different team winning conference. We were not one of those teams, but I have no regrets. I know for a fact we played our butts off. We played in the conference championship, but on that day, we just weren't the best. But that didn't bother me. That just made me stronger as a person, as an athlete, as a coach. And now, as a coach, I want to have my team play in a championship game. Once you're there, it's 50-50. Both teams want to win, but the ones that come out as a victor. But, I mean, that's just the way it is. So, yes, I wasn't the most perfect where I won as an age group, high school, and college, but I've had a tremendous experience at Whittier College, and it really made me who I am today as a mentor, as a coach, and now as a parent. But again, all this starts from my childhood, bringing from my parents. That's where it all starts, of course. And then you're wondering how I started playing water polo. Well, then you look at your older sibling, which is my sister. And then you kind of just go from there. Going back to the mark that I want to leave is I want Whittier College to be known as one of the best water polo schools. Recruit local talent. In fact, recruit the best local talent. And I've had, I want to say, a lot of influence on recruiting a lot of the local kids, including one of my childhood friends who came and coached me for 2 or 3 years. Even after I graduated, there were still some kids that I felt my group, my team had influence in recruiting them to come to us. And sure enough, a few years later, Mitch and Whittier College got their first conference title. And even though we weren't part of that team, I was still there, and I felt that I was part of that influence of changing the culture of that program. And now the program's in great hands, great facility, great support. There's a full-time coach, where my coach was just a second coach. Now there's a full-time coach facility. So it's only going to get better, I believe, for the school, for recognition. And I couldn't be more pleased or more proud to be up here today speaking as an inductee. And again, I'm proud of who I am, proud of my upbringing, my parents, siblings, proud of my coach. And I couldn't be any more happy to be at a different school. I'm a proud poet, always will be.
Yeah.
And as I have to say,
I was reminded of the 2003 NFL Football Hall of Fame, where the speakers or the presenters were given a time limit. And I remember that so much that my brother thought he was not going to be able to be aired on television because he was the last speaker. And everybody before him was taking the good old time, making sure their voices would speak sensitive to the hour and to one another. Our next presenter for this evening, Mr. Mike Rizzo.
thank you, Harold. Sergio, congratulations. My only regret, I haven't watched you play water polo, is that you never tried to throw the white ball in your hand. I got to do that. It was anything like you threw a water polo, I think it is an honor and a privilege to present our next inductee, Robert Fripp. I'd love to tell you that I spent countless hours recruiting Rob, but I'd be lying. I was in my interim year, sitting in my office, and this young man came, poked his head in my door during football camp and said, "Coach, my name's Rob Fripp. I'm here to play football. I also play baseball. I'm a left-handed first baseman, and I pitch a and off he went. Little did I know. He will go down as the best all-around baseball player that I've coached to date. And this is my 30th year in the college program. His numbers play like a video game. They're absurd. But I'll share some of them with you. And there's quite a few baseball players here tonight, some Hall of Famers in the crowd, so they'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. As a poet, Rob played in 119 games. And I was the genius. He only started 118 of those. His first game he didn't start. We were facing Viola. They had a two-time All-American left-handed pitcher, and I thought it might be best to keep Rob on the bench. Never happened again. As baseball players, we routinely deal with failure. It's our sport. We fail. We deal with adversity. Rob is no exception to that. During his junior year, it's homecoming football week, so third week of October. Playing middle linebacker on the football team, he broke his tibia and had to have plates and screws put in his ankle. You can only imagine what a baseball coach is doing when you sit there and you go, "That's my franchise right there." Being carted off on an ambulance that had to wait because 2 plays later, another player had broke his ankle, and they rode down together. So, that's adversity. But it didn't get him down, because I've never seen anybody rehab harder. His mother and I were speaking about it earlier. He should not have played his junior year. But you weren't going to keep him off the field. Ever. He did have his worst year as a poet that year. He hit 400. 424 in conference. It would amaze. I'd be amazed to know what his numbers would have been like had he not gotten hurt. He had no protection in that lineup. We had 7 starting freshmen that year and Rob. So it was kudos for him. It showed what kind of player he was. His .421 career batting average ranks second in the last 30 years. I thought that's as far back as my records go. I've talked with Frank Mendoza. Those numbers are pretty cool. He scored 139 runs, 190 hits in 3 years, a 745 slugging percentage. All of these ranked second all time since 1984. His 54 career doubles are still a record that still holds. 28 home runs and 131 RBIs. 336 total bases are tops all time. Again, he played 3 years.
some of my players here, they know what it is. It's mainly for stat geeks, but it holds true. It's your on-base percentage plus your slugging percentage. And to give you an idea, through his first 3 years of his career, Mike Trout has an OPS of 941. Rob Frisk's career OPS at Whittier College was 1,274. Staggering. In SCIAC, with 63 career games, never missed a SCIAC game. He had a 444 batting average with 106 hits, 27 doubles, and 16 home runs. An on-base percentage of 558. His OPS in SCIAC play for a career is 1.324. And I mentioned he pitched a little. You know, he pitched a lot for us because we weren't very good and we didn't have very many pitchers. He's fifth all-time in innings pitched with 242, and he is first in complete games with 11. Numbers aside, put them all together, he was 3 times first team all-conference, 2-time first team all-West region. In his senior year, he was an All-American. He might have had a shot at being the player of the year, but unfortunately, the National Home Run League was a stage. Following his career, Rob took a graduate fellowship and coached with me for 2 years as a grad fellow, and another year as my hitting coach. And as good a player he was, he's a better person and a better coach. He's what we aspire to recruit at Whittier College, the combination of athletics, character, and commitment to his academics. As a kinesiology major, he was a scholar, 3.25 grade point average. It was very sad to lose him as a coach. We'd like to have that continuity, but we all know $500 will not keep you around long. You have to eat, and he was fortunate and landed an assistant coaching job at El Toro High School in baseball and in football. And right away they saw his leadership as he guided them to Dodger Stadium for a CIF championship game his very first year. He had the pleasure of coaching current major leaguer, Colorado's Rocky third baseman, Nolan Arenado. First round draft pick, Chad Thompson. So he definitely did. His biggest impact he makes on others is he shows them what hard work can do. And I said after he broke his leg his junior year, Rob decided to not play football his senior year. And every day that I would show up to work and look through the fence, there was a guy with no shirt on and shorts hitting into a net for 2 hours at a time. And it paid off. It was his senior year. It was incredible. Unfortunately, Rob can't be here with us today because he's coaching against San Juan Hills, because he is the head coach at El Toro and trying to lead their football team to a victory. But we will see him tomorrow, and I hope you will congratulate him tomorrow. His lovely wife Tara is here, their 2 children, Taylor and Luke, and his mom Sandy.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank the Whittier College Athletics Hall of Fame Committee for selecting me for the 2014 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I have to apologize, I can't be here tonight. I'm a head football coach myself, and I've got my duties to my players and the school that I teach and I work at, but I'm definitely here in spirit, and my heart is here at this banquet. I'd like to also thank my coach and Associate Athletic Director of Whittier College, Mike Rizzo, for all of his support in helping me while I was at Whittier, and even after my time at Whittier, just staying with me not only as a coach, but as a friend and a mentor. I'd like to thank my parents. My mother, Sandy, she has always been there for me, and ever since I was a young boy, she gave me no other option but to go to a college and to graduate from a four-year institution. And so my opportunity to be here at Whittier, I have to thank her so much for always instilling in me that academics came first. My father, Rick, who's no longer with us, but he always made time for me as a young man to throw the ball around or throw BP or to work out any way that we wanted to. He was there for me, and I always thank him and remember him for that. I'd like to thank my lovely wife, Tara, who's at the banquet accepting this award on my behalf. Tara was a huge fan even then, would come up for games and travel around and always be there in support for me. My stepfather, Mike, was a huge fan as well. I would set up tailgates out in behind the right field parking lot, and they would set up the couches and just have a blast and get on the other team's outfielders for any errors that they would make out there, and always remember those times. So I want to thank him for his support. My two children who were at the banquet tonight, Taylor and my son Luke, I love them, love those kids, and I hope that someday are going to have the opportunity to have a similar experience at their college that I was able to have while I was at Whittier. Speaking of my time at Whittier, I just wanted to share a couple of my experiences and thoughts about the time that I was a student and also a graduate assistant at Whittier. And looking back, I was very fortunate to have landed on the campus of Whittier College. I didn't know if it was the right place at the beginning, just because I didn't know anything about Whittier. And as soon as I got here, and as soon as I met the football coach at the time was Bob Owens, and as soon as I met Mike Rizzo, I knew that I had come home. And this institution helped to shape me into the man that I am today. The life lessons that I learned here through athletics and also the academics have allowed me to be as a teacher and a coach and a husband and a father. And so I want to thank the professors that were here at the time and the coaches on campus and for allowing me to grow as a human being. I was also a graduate assistant after my time at Whittier. As an undergrad finished, I came back and Coach Rizzo gave me the opportunity to be a grad assistant. And I had a choice to make, to go and chase the baseball dream and start off in the independent leagues or begin my graduate work. And it took me a couple weeks, and I decided that, I did not want to leave Whittier College. And I had such a good time here, and I felt like this was my home. And so I made the decision to come back as a graduate assistant and for the men's baseball team and get my teaching credential and also my master's degree, get that done here and stay home and continue working with Coach Rizzo as an assistant coach. And I realized rather quickly that as demanding as he was as a baseball coach, he was doubly demanding to work for. And we had some really good times, and I thank him for always being there for me and helping me to learn and grow as a human being and as a man, shape me as I am here today as a person. The one thing that, looking back, that I can say that I truly miss about Whittier College is the family-like atmosphere that this institution creates, and just the embracing attitude that the students had for each other. The students, athletes especially here at Whittier College, are and will always be family. Not only did I meet two of my best friends in my for life here on the football field and baseball field, but these men are also friends of mine today, and they were. I met the best man in my wedding. Was a student at Whittier College. My roommate for a time after Whittier College, Elvin Dick, I met him here at Whittier. Nate Nelson, a guy that I played ball with, and he was also coached with a little bit at Whittier. These are great people that have continued to be friends here in my life. And so without Whittier College, I wouldn't have been able to meet those people and be able to have those lifelong bonds as well. Probably the thing that I miss the most is the workouts. The times that you can actually come out here on your own and you can work out and to improve your craft. The second thing I miss the most about Whittier College as far as athletics is concerned is the competition. It's very difficult as you get older to simulate what it's like, whether it be on a football field in competition or whether it be on the baseball field. And so those things you remember for life. And it's one of those things where if you could go back just for one day or one afternoon and either put on the pads and the helmet or put on the spikes and get your glove to get out there and to compete, while you are actually in the moment, you just take it for what it is. But when you are done, you look back and you cherish those moments. You cherish it for life. And I have some memories in my head, several memories of being an athlete here and just the good times and opportunities that I was presented. And those are memories you take for life. And again, all of these experiences through academics and athletics and the people that you meet and the bonds that you create, you look back and they shape you as a person for who you are. And we're constantly creating memories, and the memories I have of Whittier College, this institution, the people that were here while I was here, again, professors and coaches, those memories are stamped in my brain and in my mind. And as a coach now and as a teacher, I try to take those experiences and I try to shed in a positive light the message that I received while I was here constantly by all the wonderful people that I was able to be around. I try to shed that experience in those teachings onto my athletes and my students. And again, I think that without Whittier College, I would not be the person I am today. And I again would like to thank the Hall of Fame committee, Coach Rizzo, my parents, my lovely wife Tara, for always being there for me and for providing me with this wonderful opportunity to speak to you and be here on Saturday for the wonderful festivities and just be a part of this experience. Thank you.
For the non-baseball enthusiasts in this room, Rob and what? Those phenomenal numbers. Any cancer survivors in the room? This is the month of October. No cancer survivors? I think it is. Our third presenter for this evening, Mr. Raymond Wines.
Hey, Brother Man. That's how Coach Mendez used to greet a lot of us at the school. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ramon Juarez. I'm a 1989 graduate of Whittier College, and I'm honored to be here tonight to present my coach, mentor, colleague, and most of all, my friend, U.B. Mendez, to the Whittier College Hall of Fame. For more than 28 years, more than half of my life, Coach Mendez has been a guiding light in my life. And I know for many others who graduated from college at Whittier, he was also that for them too. I've been connected with Coach for quite a long time. I played football for him as a receiver and a quarterback, and I played shortstop for the baseball team from the years 1984 to 1988. After Whittier College, we coached together at Pioneer High School for 3 years, and during that time we had the opportunity to go to St. Gallen, Switzerland, playing the Euro Bowl playoffs. Myself and another Whittier College graduate that's here tonight, Joe Johnson, and played for the Euro Bowl title for Switzerland. After college and playing football with coach in Switzerland, my friend Mitch Olson and I yearly used to visit him and Dottie in Las Vegas to go see how they're doing, and really to honor and appreciate the man for everything that he did for myself and Mitch Olson. He was an amazing coach to many. His coaching career exemplifies his accomplishments here at Whittier, as well as countries abroad. Coach Ben has dedicated 18 years to Whittier College. Starting in 1970, he served in many capacities for the athletic department. He served as assistant head football coach under Coach Godfrey, defensive coordinator, head football coach, head baseball coach, assistant athletic director, and he was an instructor in the PE and history departments. In football, as the assistant head football coach and the defensive coordinator in 1977, he had the Poet defense lead the nation in the NAIA with 34.3 yards rushing allowed per game. That is such a remarkable feat that a Poet squad may never be able to repeat. In 1981 and 82, as the head football coach, he led up to back-to-back SCIAC titles. And during his coaching career in football in SCIAC, his record was 33 wins, 18 losses, overall 52 wins, 44 losses, and in combination as the assistant head coach and head coach, 105 wins, 75 losses, all winning records in each category. He was the first black head football coach in a 4-year college in California, and he was highly respected in the SCIAC conference. He also coached 7 Hall of Famers in football, including John Brunell, class of 74, Larry Taylor, 74, Mike Siasi, 78, Wayne Esterbrook, 73, Pete Levine, 85, Michael Owens, 86, and Joey Jordan, who couldn't be here tonight, 85. He also coached 3 All-Americans during that time, and one of his athletes, Jim Skipper, presently is an NFL coach with the Carolina Panthers. In baseball, Coach Mendez guided the team from 1971 to 1986 with an overall record of 221 wins, 198 losses, while amassing those playing against many Division I programs, such as UCLA, Cal State Fullerton, Cal State Northridge, Pepperdine, and all you baseball guys know this, and his favorite place to play, UNLV. In 1974, 76, and 78, he led the baseball team to the NAIA District 3 playoffs, and in 74, losing a close game with Laverne, 5-4 in the championship. Also in 1984, he led the team to the Western Regionals Division 3. During his coaching career as a head baseball coach, he directed 7 Hall of Famers there. Jesse Buchenboom, class of 83. Andy Ace Castillo, 74. Wayne Esterbrook, 73. Greg Jones, 79. He also coached 13 All-Americans during that time period, and he had 2 Major League first-round draft picks. George Ambrose for the New York Mets, and Tony Woods for the Chicago Cubs.
Hey, Tony!
He also got 2 others, Freddie Martinez with the California Angels, and Huey Brooks with the Montreal Expos. Internationally, in football, Coach Mendez traveled to many countries. He coached in Vantaa, Finland, Amsterdam in the Netherlands, St. Gallen, Switzerland, and Belkirk, Austria, just to name a few. He won the Euro Bowl title, which is like the Super Bowl here in the United States, for Finland in 1986, and later on in 1993 with Austria. During his time in Finland, he received Mayor's Award in Community Service for working with youth programs in physical education. He also helped more than 20 Whittier College athletes gain the opportunity to play professional football in Europe and gave them a chance of a lifetime to extend their playing opportunities while representing the college. Coach Mendes' accomplishments speak for themselves. But to me, Coach is much more than a coach. He was a critic, psychologist, counselor, professor, motivator, supporter, mentor, a damn good storyteller, father, and most of all, a friend. While working on this speech tonight, I talked with many people, including Frank Mendoza and Joey Jordan, who helped get Coach into the Hall of Fame tonight. And they didn't talk much about his coaching as I thought they would, which is a testament that he was much more than a coach. They remembered how he was concerned about our education and how a Whittier College degree offered opportunities once you got out to the workforce, especially for minorities like Frank Mendoza and I. Coach also believed in the evolution and the maturation of the student athlete, growing academically, socially, and athletically. He tried to help refine us as individuals to do things the right way to make us better. He also didn't give up on people no matter their talent or their attitude towards him. He would guide us and instruct us about what was needed to do better. Many times he would write personal letters to players to challenge them during the upcoming season and informing them of his expectations as a player. He was a mentor who knew many ways to get the best and the most out of these players. He also made each one of us feel that our opinion was important in regards to team decisions. Coach Mendes was loved on campus and was like a rock star everywhere he went. Walking around the CI for lunch, there was always students trying to approach him and say hello or just hear some of his great stories that he always had. If you took a poll with the students while I was in school, they probably couldn't tell you who the president of the college was. But they could tell you who Coach Mendes was, even if they didn't play sports. That was because of his kind and friendly nature. He was always willing to talk and joke around a bit with any of the students. Even in Europe, he became very, very popular very quickly with his ability to turn a mediocre football program into a contender for the Euro Bowl championship. He was recruited by many countries after he won the Euro Bowl title in 1986 with Finland, and he became a superstar overnight. Coach could have found top Division I players to play for his European teams, but he didn't. He took his Division III players from Whittier College, players like myself and about 25 others, and gave us the opportunity to play, but also to experience what Europe had to offer. He was an ambassador to Whittier College. Wherever he went in Europe, many Europeans thought that Whittier College was a football factory, and that we had outstanding athletes. Coach would always speak highly of the school and was often photographed in his Whittier College gear. He even promoted the college for many of the Europeans to come to school and get an education as well as play for him at the school. His coaching and prophetic style will always stay with me. His innovative ideas, his motions and shifts in football were above their time. His simplistic yet confusing offense gave other teams deep risk for a ball game, which many times helped lead the team to victory. There were times I wondered if Coach was a prophet, because sometimes it seemed he could tell the future. He could guarantee a win in a Euro Bowl championship game. Or for myself, he predict runs in a baseball game at a certain position, make errors at particular times in the game. I know because he predicted quite a few of mine. And the consequences of those mistakes. He had been around the game so much and seen it so much that he had seen just about everything. He was a student of the game and was always evolving with his ideas and never staying stagnant. that made him great. What I remember most about Coach Mendez is the years after coaching and playing with him. I have fond memories of the times visiting him and Dottie in Las Vegas with Mitch Olsen and Joey Jordan, and spending time with them, reminiscing of the times he coached, the players he coached, and the stories from his accomplishments. I always enjoyed hearing about his quest to go back to Europe one more time, and try to go for that title once again. I will always cherish those times with him and remember everything that he taught me. Coach Mendez will always be the best part of my time at Whittier College, and a significant part of who I have become as a person today. He has been a positive influence on thousands of student athletes during his time at Whittier College, and to me, Coach Mendez is Whittier College, and will always be. I'd like to thank Dottie. I would like to thank I'd like to thank Dottie and Bobby Mendez for allowing Coach to be a big part of our life at Whittier College. I know you two missed a lot of time with him, and that's just part of being a job as a football and baseball coach. But during that time he was away from you, he was molding strong young men for the future.
Yeah.
We will all cherish that time we had with Coach. He will be remembered for being one of those few people in our lives that changed us for the better. I know Coach is looking down at us tonight, and I just want to tell him, thanks for everything, Coach. And one other thing. Brother, you got everything that's coming to you tonight. So it is a great pleasure that I get to announce the newest inductee into the Whittier College Hall of Fame, Hugh B. Mendez. Please help me congratulate you as his son, Robert Mendez, accepts the award on his behalf.
I wish my pop was here, and I tell you, this is a very, very special day for my mom and my family. Stories, yes, my father. I have plenty of stories. All the people I've talked to today, even after the memorial service, seem to always bring that up about the stories. Always looking behind myself, I'm sure, what I could hear what he was saying, but always had something to say about it. I wish he was here right now to be able to tell you some of these stories. God, this is tough. Whittier College. I basically grew up with Whittier College, playing in his office with my toys and stuff like that and everything, so you can imagine how young I was. And one thing that I always would see from the time I was little all the way through the European teams or anything like that, the preparation that we did was always preparing for something. It was baseball, football, and always wanted to show me, come here, brother, let me show you this defense, brother. There ain't no way they're going to get past this way. But I really thank everybody, the bevy of players that supported this to happen, because Whittier College was definitely a very, very special time in our family's lives, in his life. And thank you very much, Sam, for this happening, and everybody for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you. was quite a man. I don't have any good stories about Coach. And probably doesn't have any good stories about me. No, seriously. He's probably mad at me because as a freshman, I came out and made the team as a freshman, and I decided not to play. I left Whittier for a couple years. Came back to Whittier, went on the tryout team, and made it again, and decided not to play. Coach was probably mad at me. Our party wasn't as good as Ron. I knew I could hit the ball. My ground could hit the ball. Yeah. Listen, I got a little quick joke here. Just being serious side. I'm a little mad at Rob, Coach Rob Tate, the first Rob. Rob, I'm mad at you because I didn't get recruited to play basketball. Oh, yeah. You know, I know I played better defense than Ralph Dudley. I have better handles than Wyatt Sweeney. And my brother don't like this one. And I had a better jumper than John Jay. But on a serious note, I am so happy.
There was a professor that was attended Terry Nervous. He always said, it's not what it is, but what many thinks it is that can't.
Let me go and reinvent myself. But on a serious note, this is a great group of guys that we're going to look at next. Thrilled to watch them march across the stage. Our next presenter, Mr. Gary Smith.
Thanks, Harold. Touche there, Rod. I can't tell you how much a pleasure it is to be asked to be here tonight for this special occasion. I really consider this one of the highlights I've experienced, to be asked by a rival such as Whittier College for a Redlands coach to be here and introduce a team that was coached by a great friend of mine, a man I really respected. And we had some great competitions together and some great times together. And developed a close friendship, I think, over the years. And I think the fact that you've done this kind of does validate, in some ways, much of the values of our conference, frankly, and Whittier College. In terms of you can compete hard, prepare, field great teams, and still be friends. Honest to goodness, I think that is the heart and soul of our conference. I have for years. I know Dave felt that way, Coach Jay felt that way, and I feel that way very strongly. And I think that for this team, it really epitomized that, as I'll explain a little bit later in a comment or two here. First, I've got a couple of asides. One is, I've got to say this, I almost came to Whittier. I was that close to being a coach. I remember talking to Coach Bonham, who was the coach here from 1934 to 68, coached a lot of great teams, and you guys transcended and built on what he had done, and the great rich history that is a part of this place. But and I remember talking to Coach Bonham and to Coach George, to the admissions director George Tenefer, who unfortunately passed away just I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. I remember vividly those conversations. I know he had quite a role, I think, with this organization in athletics and the Hall of Fame. And 2 great men. And it's easy to see the values that you have here at Whittier and just the people I've met tonight and knowing from a distance. Coach Mendez, we're doing a great job with introducing him. From a distance, I knew him as a coach and never got to know him well like I did Coach Jacobs, but tremendous individual and obviously put really well-prepared teams on the field and was a great leader in them. So, before I introduce this team, just a real quick history of basketball at Whittier College, because it is indeed a rich one. As perhaps most of you know, Whittier has won more than twice as many conference championships as anybody else in the conference. They've won 29 conference championships, SCIC championships, in the history of our conference. The second most is 14. That was Redlands, by the way. I mentioned that. But, I gotta get that in there. But it's been a dominating sport, and richly so. You beat UCLA in the early years. Wooden wasn't quite at UCLA yet, but you did. You had wins over UCLA. You won the conference from there. You go look back to the 20s, and UCLA has a couple of SCIC championships in men's basketball. But the great runs that Coach Bonham had during his run, I think he won 15 championships in his 34 years that he was here. But you guys, in 76, 77, started the most amazing run, I think. I'm aware of in the conference history, and looking back at the records, I don't think anybody has accomplished what you did during a 3-year span that really was started with this team. The 1976-77 team went 12-0 in conference. The 77-78 team went 12-0 in conference. And the 78-79 team went 12-0 in conference. 36-0, 3 years in a row. Amazing accomplishment. And you guys started it. That year, the year we're celebrating tonight, as in talking to a couple of you tonight and recall it, I think you had a 25 straight win streak that year. You lost your first 4 games on the road to D1 people and didn't. I marvel still, in retrospect, at the quality of talent that you had, but the ability to subvert yourself to roles that made your team a real team. The chemistry was fantastic. I remember talking to Mike earlier. The thing I remember is about how hard you ran the cuts. They were blistering hard, and that had to come from, I think, from Coach Jacobs, and he probably, maybe you saw a few scars on the back from getting after you, but it was, you were really good. You were really, really tremendous. And I think the word is lost sometimes, but really a team that understood your roles and played to the maximum of your abilities and accomplished, 36-0, 12-0, 25-4. You were on the season and went over to Cal Poly Pomona, beating Point Loma in the championship game, and just having a tremendous effect on the whole conference. That year saw you're 24-5. You win the conference. You're NAIA, which the SCIC was an NAIA organization at that time. And you won District 3, which was California, basically. You beat Cal Baptist in the semis and Point Loma in the finals, or vice versa. I think that's the way it was. You beat Point Loma in the finals that year to go back to Kansas City. Something else happened to be in Kansas City in another week, too, I guess, isn't there? The Giants playing over there. You were ranked second in the country at one time. You finished the season in the top 10 in the nation. And the NAIA was a very big organization. It still is, but it was much bigger in those days. NC2A Division III was really just in its formative years at that time. We'll talk a little bit more about that and Jake's role in that, because it was a big one. It was an immense one, what he did for Whittier Conference in the NC2A. And it was a pleasure to meet and talk with many of you here today, the players on that team. And, I remember how hard it was to corral Ralph Dudley and try and keep him in front of you, and we were trying to shut lanes around him. It was almost an impossible task. To Mike and all the work ethic that he brought to the game, and George and all of them, Carl, tremendous athletes, but all within your role and making your team better. At any rate, one of the more significant, amazing accomplishments was that all 5 of them made the All-League team. All 5 of them. The starters were All-League. Carl, Mike, Wyatt, Hugh, and George. All-League. First team All-League. Never another time accomplished. As I look back to the records, let's go back to 1932 for all league teams. 4 times there was teams that had 4 and only won 5. 4 first team all conference from one school. All of them from Whittier. All of them from Whittier. The next year, 77, 78, 4 of you made it that year too. George and Ralph were part of that group. The other thing that was a part of that team, 76, 77, was you had a 6th award winner too. The conference selects a sportsmanship award. It's named the Ted Ducey Sportsmanship Award. It's given to a senior. And Rob Smith, who is unable to be here tonight, was a winner of that. So you talk about sweet. You really had a chance. You're 12-0. You dominate the first team. You win the Ted Ducey Award. What the heck, you know? What else can you do, huh? But I think that, particularly, I think that shows what the conference felt of you guys, the 76, 77 team. Because the Ted Ducey Award is selected by the players and the coaches. Each player in the whole conference and each coach in the conference votes on that. And for you to win the conference going away like you did, and to have the other your competitors, your opponents, select you as the Ted Ducey Award winner. Rod won it his senior year, and Mike Brown won it his senior year in 1978. I think that speaks volumes about the kind of people you are. And where your values are, what Coach Jacobs' values were, and where your values are now, what are your values about, and what I like to think reverence. Career, which has been incredible. And really, in talking with so many of you tonight here, you know, what you've accomplished after you left Whittier, from your roles in education, school administrators, principals, physicians, doctors, extremely successful businessmen, engineers, aerospace. It's impressive, it really is. And it speaks volumes to this school and what and I know what they did to you, and certainly what you've given to. It's rich history. It's very rich history in basketball. The one other thing I would mention for that team that year, you averaged 90 points a game, which in that era was something else. I'll tell you, it really was. You have to keep in mind that was well before the shot clock and well before the three-point line. And there's some irony in that too. Coach Jacobs went to Springfield College, the birthplace of basketball. It's still where the Hall of Fame is. And to come from there to this place, that was special. But the guy that brought in the three-point line and the shot clock was an alum and a teacher at the time, a professor at the time at Springfield College. Ed Stites had a big hand in that, and was really considered kind of the czar of the rules committee. Most of the basketball coaches did not want the three-point line. Most of the basketball coaches did not want the shot clock. But he overruled all of us, and put it in, and it's been good for the game, I think. But you didn't have it, but you averaged 90 a game anyway, so congratulations on all that you've accomplished from that standpoint. So really from the early 70s, really, but particularly that run of 77, 78, 79, and on into the 80s, the Whittier domination was you the benchmark that everybody tried to reach. I know our teams at Redlands, I think during that stretch of time were probably the best I had the opportunity to coach. They were pretty good. And we had some great battles. We were though. But we had some great battles. The Redlands Whittier rivalry was really in its prime in those days. When Reynolds and Whittier played football, Coach Godfrey or Hughes teams, usually the conference title was on the line. Often basketball the same way. A long tradition, and we had some great battles. One story aside, and then I'll get on with this, but I've got to relate as to how that rivalry was so big. At Redlands, at the end of the graduation exercises, we sang the alma mater. And Jim Burdick was a very successful tennis coach at Redlands, and at one time coached the football team. And after we finished singing the alma mater, Burdick would always stand up, his whole amphitheater full, and shout out, "Eat Whittier!" So it was the rivalry was really special, very, very special. I've got to thank Mike and Brock and Stan and whoever else had a hand in this, Rob, and inviting me to be a part of this tonight, because it is very special to me, particularly knowing Jake the way I did. And a few things about Coach Jacobs, and Jake as a person, and what he meant to all of us, and what he accomplished in his life. This year we're celebrating 76, 77. He was the NAIA District 3 Coach of the Year. He was the NABC District 9 Coach of the Year. We didn't select a Coach of the Year, never had in our conference. The SCIC never has done that, and doesn't to this day. But Jake won all those others. He also won 7 SCIC championships. He competed in 6 NAI District 3 championships, and you guys went to Kansas City and represented us in a great fashion. He had over 300 wins. He competed in 3 NCAA Division 3 regionals and won one of those. I think he hosted one of those here at Whittier. And he was selected District Coach of the Year 5 times. From a basketball standpoint, obviously, I probably don't need to expand too much on what he meant to this place and what he meant to all of you guys. What I would like to read off in just for a minute, though, is his leadership in the conference. He was the athletic director for a significant period of time here. And he was instrumental. He was the man, really, that took Whittier and took the SCIC from the NAIA into the NCAA Division 3. Division 3 was a new phenomenon in the 70s. And by, I think it was 1980, Whittier and 3 of the him away, as Ramon had alluded here earlier, took him away from family and all of that. But he was a major contributor to all of that. He also established the Whittier College Summer Sports Camp, which you guys are still running to today. And Rock's doing that, right, Rock?
Good Rock.
We received many awards, among which were the Distinguished Service Award from the from the NC2A Division III committee nationally, and from our conference, he's received the Distinguished Service Award from the SCIC conference. I did some quotes from Coach Jacobs that we exchanged in letters, if you would, at his retirement. And I think maybe one of these was, I'm not sure if these would go back a while, before his untimely death, but not too long before that. We started together. This is Coach Jacobs. We started together. We did. We came in together. He from Springfield, and I came from Southern California in 1971, 72. And had different ways, different paths to get it done. At that time, you guys were a little more offensive oriented than we were, and we were maybe a little more defensive end of the game. We emphasized different approaches, but we shared the respect as coaching colleagues, and most importantly as friends, through a lot of wonderfully competitive seasons. Coach was a true professional, in my opinion, in every sense of the word. And he went on here. We understood what basketball coaching as a profession really was to us. At his retirement, in the letter to me, after I corresponded with him, there are some things I won't miss about the time demands of coaching. But the relations with the players and the congenial or competitive coaching relationships in the SCIC were very special to me. I will always treasure our coaching interactions. We had a lot of fun, Gary, and some great games. We did have a lot of great games. Dave and I each had some international experience, as Ramon alluded to with Coach Mendez earlier. And we had always talked about taking a team, and we talked about taking a team of SCIC guys to overseas together to play. Dave had been to Australia, Taiwan particularly. We never did get together with that. I regret that we never did do that, but we talked about it and intended to. It just didn't quite happen for us. And please understand that Dave was as much a mentor to me as a respected rival. I think he's showing the dignity with which he carried himself, the integrity with which he acted day in and day out, in all aspects of the job, were really a lesson. And I think this class and this dignity is well reflected in you guys tonight. I really do. I can see it in you, and in other Whittier teams that played for Coach, and Whittier to this day through Rock. Because Rock is really an extension, I think, of Coach Jake, and I don't know that I should give anybody a higher compliment than that, frankly. Jake and Coach Wells at Claremont and myself coached against each other for 2.5 decades. But all during this time, Whittier was really the benchmark to shoot at. Wow. And Jake did set a very high mark. I think you were really blessed, Rock, to have played for Coach Jake and to have coached under him. And it's no wonder that you're the kind of guy you are today, the person you are today, having had that opportunity to see that model with understanding of the SCIC values and what Whittier's all about. In closing, I would just say that I always felt that and I told many people, I thought Jake was the best coach that was in the conference, had been in the conference. I remember how difficult it was to prepare for you guys. The preparation we were a pretty good pressure defense team, man pressure. But you broke us down and nullified our pressure You really did. It was great. The hard cuts and the preparation. You always had something new that I hadn't seen before. And he was a great coach, a great human being, taught values, obviously through the medium of athletics. So Whittier College, I know Jake loved this place, and I think it's a two-way street. Whittier was fortunate, Jake was fortunate to be at Whittier. Whittier was fortunate to have had Jake. And you guys in 76, 77, the Whittier players were fortunate to have him. And it's not difficult to understand your lifetime achievements and many of you and the kind of people you are today for having been at this wonderful place and played for Coach Jake. So congratulations.
Well, just quickly, I want to thank the committee for bringing us together. This really is an occasion for us. We have a lot of laughs, a lot of times that we've been together. But it all started with one thing, and Jacob and we got to give Rod-Tate a lot of credit too, because Coach Tony was the guy during the game had to walk up to you and whisper in your ear, you know what, you need to stop playing with the ball. Brian, you need to go inside. You need to clamp down on that guy. You need to do this. Coach would get us ready for the games. He was an excellent guy all the time. So, you know what, it really was a team concept, and this thing is carried over into the years. And this is amazing. See all these guys up here over the 37 years ago, this thing took place. And I'll tell you, when we were caught up in the moment, we didn't recognize the real beauty of it. Until now, when we look back, this is something that, as Coach said before, there won't be many that accomplish this feat. So I know this night will carry on for myself and for others, and these other awardees also. I'm just glad to be a part of it. I'm sure my teammates are as well. Thank you for conducting us.
Folks, my name is Rob Coleman. I am the Director of Athletics here at Whittier College. And from the Jacobs family, Chris Schumann was supposed to be here this evening. He's the son-in-law of Coach Jacobs. And he works for a law firm that oversees compliance issues for Division I. And he's currently dealing with an issue at Florida State with a player by the name of James Winston, and could not get here this evening. So he sent me a text, and I just want to read it real quickly. He says, on behalf of the Jacobs family, please know how truly happy and proud Coach would be for this team's deserved inclusion into the Hall of Fame. This group is very special to Coach, and it represented his first team at Whittier that was all his. His players playing at a high level of basketball and represented Whittier College basketball program. On behalf of Mary Beth, Kristen, and Jennifer, congratulations on your induction. It is well deserved. Congratulations. George, do you know this guy right here? We got to send him this photo. Look at that face. That's a big poster right there. That's the Michael Jordan poster right there.
So Coach Rob, Coach Smith is doing a challenge y'all talking about Whittier. Really? Did he come in our house and say that? So when does Whittier play Redlands? We all need to be there. Like Smith, Coach Smith, you can come. And we're going to chant on our side, you presidents. I had to have the last word on that. prepared. But I took the honor for just to say one more time, thank you. And hand this honor over to the young man who's coming into our community, our school, with passion and dedication. Our athletic director, Mr. Rob Coleman.
So before we conclude tonight's festivities, I'd like to take one last time to thank everyone for attending tonight's event. And let's give all of our inductees one more time. I think you all know by now what an incredible achievement it is to be inducted into your alma mater's Hall of Fame. To know your name will forever be honored in the Graham Athletic Center in the Hall of Fame is something we should all be extremely proud of. Besides our inductees this evening, we have a host of Hall of Famers in the room, and I'd like to recognize them at this time. Unless someone's snuck in without me knowing, when I call your name, could you just please stand and remain standing until I finish the list? We have Mike Brown.
Yes.
We have Mitch Carter. We have Andy Castillo. We have Ralph Henry. We have George Hightower. We have Greg Jones. We have Peter Lavin. We have Frank Mendoza. And we have Jim Olsen. Let's give everyone here a round of applause. I'm grateful to be here this evening, entering my 9th year as the Executive Director of Athletics here at Whittier College. I'm honored to have the opportunity in overseeing the athletic program as we continue to move through the 21st century. Our recent successes are not only prevalent on the field, courts, track, and pool, but in the classroom as well. Last year alone, we had over 50% of our student athletes achieve a GPA of 3.0 or higher, up from 46% from 2 years ago at the same time. And it's a remarkable number considering we have grown from 280 student athletes to over 460 in the past 6 years. This evening, we have invited a contingent of our coaching staff and student athletes to witness this extraordinary event. I've always felt it's important to have our current coaches and players understand the history of our athletic program, and I appreciate the efforts of the student athletes who are here that have set the standard and foundation we strive for in our program every day. There's no question that some of the individuals I'm about to introduce will also be joining this prestigious group of Hall of Famers in the coming years. I'd ask this group to also remain standing. From football, our head coach, Todd Stroud. Coach? He's joined here this evening by running back with Felton Traxler. From women's basketball, we have our assistant women's basketball coach, Laura Elliott, who was joined by senior point guard Danica Navales. From men's basketball, we have our associate athletic director and head men's basketball coach, a graduate of '89, Coach Rob Carter. He's joined by assistant men's basketball coach and our director of intramurals, class of 2000, Mark Jensen. As you've heard, from baseball, assistant athletic director and head coach, Mike Rizzo, class of '86. I don't know if all his players made it, but yeah, pitcher Nick Garcia. Is Nick here? In the back, there we go. Cody Martinez, who joined us this evening. Second team All-Sky performers, Ben Sarami and catcher Steven Zavala. From softball, our senior women administrator and head softball coach, Dee Dee Kingsbury. sophomore pitcher, Samantha Bloom. Is Samantha still here? No, she's not. She's not this. She's a great pitcher. She'll be in the Hall of Fame one day. She got 3 more years left. From men's and women's track and field, head coach Dave Hogan, who's joined this evening. His graduate assistant Alex Johnston. And student athlete Anisha Ross. Is Anisha here? Anisha? As a freshman, Anisha broke the school record in the 400 meters as a freshman, so congratulations. And for women's lacrosse, we have our head coach, Patricia Bonagara, and her assistant, Stacy Pasafuni. You guys see? We'll give them a hand anyhow. Great job on those ladies. I'd also like to thank a couple folks from the college. First off, from our board of trustees, class of '85, Mr. Vince Daniel. Vince, I want to thank former board of trustee member, Mr. Chuck Hawley, who's with us this evening as well. Chuck, thank you. I want to thank Amy Carlton, our Associate Director of Development, for being with us. You know, these events, they go in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours if Harold's talking, but they go fairly quickly after you have to set this up for months. And I have to tell you, I have an incredible staff. I want to thank Lance for being as diligent as he is. I want to thank Mike Rizzo for him overseeing this event. Just a great job, and Dee Dee and all the workers today, setting up the Hall of Fame and making it look great. And so I want to thank everyone once again, and all your staff for just a great job. So let's give them a nice hand for and I'm just going to go off the path just for a second here before I conclude. As everyone can understand, these events, as I mentioned, take a lot of work to pull off. And the 3 years previous to this, 2008, 10, and 12, Mitch Carty was the chair of the committee. This year, he took a little step back, and Harold raised his hand and jumped in, and we couldn't be happier. Harold's done just a great job this year. Hey, Harold. Mitch was outstanding for the 6 years. His commitment to Purple Gold, his commitment to the college in general. He understands. He stayed even after he left as a coach. I mean, his commitment has just been unwavering. And so we want to give Mitch a token of our appreciation right now. Mitch, come on up here. We have a Distinguished Service Award for Mitch, and it says, in recognition of your many years of exceptional leadership and devoted service as chair of the Whittier College Hall of Fame Committee, October 17, 2014, Mitchell Carty. Said about Mitch, I mean, he understands the Purple Gold, the Booster Club, and how special, tremendous resource that is for us, and they're our strongest advocate, there's no question about that. And it's something that I'd say to all of you, stay involved. The folks who come back to the college, I think you're kind of amazed. You look at that pool, as Sergio mentioned, the tennis courts. I mean, our water polo team's ranked #1 in the country. We just won the Division III championships a week ago when we beat John Hopkins. We beat Air Force this year. We are, Division I team. We're ranked in the top 20 in Division I. And Division I is the only Division III ranked in the top 20. Our tennis team ranked in the top 20 in the country. When I first arrived at Whittier, they wouldn't even know we had tennis, but you wouldn't know we had tennis. But now we're ranked in the top 20 in the country. The successes, the facilities, the support of the college has been amazing. And hopefully you'll get a chance tomorrow if you come back to really witness it. But stay involved. It's not just about a monetary gift. Though Mitch has done that, I mean, he stayed involved with being involved with committees, being in touch with our student athletes. And so I ask of that, when you get that brochure in the mail, look at it. Maybe you can commit to the Hall of Fame committee. Maybe you can commit to the Booster Club and being a member of it. Or the golf committee, whatever the case may be. We have fundraisers like the golf event. Come out and play it. I mean, I think that's what it's all about, being a poet. And so I ask you to continue to stay connected, and if you haven't been, think about coming back to the family and being part of what we do. A couple other last things. We have a big event tomorrow. As was mentioned about the festival. We have a festival out in left field, the baseball field. Mike was twitching today as the holes were going in his outfield, so he's going to be okay after tomorrow when they take the stakes out. But so here's how this is going to work. We are going to introduce all of the Hall of Famers tomorrow at this festival at 4 o'clock. Okay? For the folks who can be there, please be there by 3:30. Okay? We're going to bring you all up on the podium, introduce you. There's going to be hundreds of people there. It's a really, really fun day planned. And then we have a public parade of athletes. And so the inductees are going to lead all of our current student athletes and former student athletes into the football game tomorrow. Okay? So it's going to be really neat. Really looking forward to that. And I ask if you can arrive at 3:30 to seek me out or seek Mike Rizzo out, and we'll get you in the proper place prior to going up there at 4 o'clock. Okay? A couple other things about tomorrow. Men's lacrosse at 10 o'clock. Men's basketball has their alumni game tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the Graham Athletic Center. We have a women's soccer conference game tomorrow at 11 o'clock versus Chapman. If you want to come out to the campus a little early and support the Poets. And then lastly, I want to thank our Hall of Fame committee. Great job. I mean, as deserving as all of these individuals are, the teams and Coach Mendez, there's a lot out there. It's a difficult selection process, and obviously we hit a home run this year with the folks who've gone into the Hall of Fame. But every year it gets harder and harder. There's some great athletes coming up, younger ones. Even since I've just been here 9 years, it's as I told Sergio, we couldn't put anyone in from water polo until we got him, and now the floodgates have been open. So we've been waiting. Sergio has been patient, thankfully, and we're really happy that the group that we got in this year. But again, I want to thank Mitch, class of '96, for his efforts on the committee. I want to thank Trish Van Hazen, the chair of our kinesiology and nutrition studies program, for being on the committee. Mike Rizzo, again, what a great job in organizing this entire event. And obviously, Harold, class of '84, stepping in to be the chair. He'll be the chair for the next 20 years, so thank you, Harold, for that. And again, thank you for supporting the event. Feel free to stay, continue to mingle, catch up. Tony's more than willing to take some more photos. If I know the Mendez family, we want to make sure we do that before you guys go. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and go Poets. Thank you again.